Hello, well here it is, the final reveal. The Bulldozer D9R is completely finished, and even though I say it myself, I think that's not a bad job at all. It's not the easiest build in the world, it's really quite complex, and most of the work you spend inside the cab. There's an awful lot to do inside the cab. I've obviously put the cab on. I've finished that now. The last video, you'll remember, I mentioned that when you pick the machine up, the tracks sag. So I've solved that problem with a bit of glue on each of the rollers and hold it up and just leave a little bit of sag in it there on the top, which is what it would be in real life. As I say, there's not much chance of actually lifting the real machine up, and you'd need to be a strong lad, wouldn't you? The top here, on the instructions, the two light clusters and the covers for the hydraulics at the side, on the painting diagram they're a sort of cat yellow, but not quite. I tried mixing it up. I was determined I wasn't going to buy a full bottle of paint just to paint those two. So in the end, what I ended up doing was painting them the desert, the tan, the same as this, but I mixed 5 drops of desert tan and 1 burnt umber, mixed that together so it came out a slightly different colour to the desert tan, and I think it looks alright. The paintings, the pictures I've seen of the real machine, all of this at the front, the two front rams, seem to get very battered. One of those things, maybe they don't paint them as well, but the paintwork seems to get very, very chipped, and you get an awful lot of rust on it. So that's what I've emulated, and I've put more weathering on this than I was going to, because at the end of the day I think it looks quite right. The top here, you wouldn't get washed very often, so it's going to have a build-up of grime. I've got the build-up of grime and the rusty bits around the hinges and the little used hatches. The hatch at the top will open and close. As you can see, it's really quite dark in there, so all that work you spent doing on the cab, if you leave it like that, you're never going to see it again. So what I did, you may remember from an earlier video, I put an LED light in the cab. It's about this position here, and the cables run down through the back of the cab and then out through the bottom here and look like hydraulic pipes if you look from the inside, and then into a little block there. When the bulldozer's sat on the ground, you can't see it. It's not there at all. What's going to happen eventually is a battery, when this is mounted on a trailer, a transport trailer, that cable will come up underneath the bulldozer, go through the bottom of the trailer, go along to the front of the trailer, and the battery will be hidden in a crate. I'll make a wooden crate so that it looks like I don't know what you call it, a spares crate or a lashing crate, put your chains in and the like. But that's where it's going to go. That'll be a little while in the future. To put the light on at the moment, because the switch will be in the trailer, it's a simple case of, he says a simple case, plugging the wire in, then the light comes on, and just like magic you can see inside there. You can see in through the side window. Because it's daylight, it's not really showing up very well, but you can see in there, you can see the seats, the controls. I'm not got that plugged in quite as far as I should have. Oops. You can see the seats, the controls. If we open the door on the other side, you can see the light on much better there with the at that angle. I open the door at this side, you can see inside the cab, the driver's seat, the gunner's seat, most of the controls there. You might be able to see the dash. No, you can't really, and they're only small openings, but take my word for it, when you look through the windows with that light on, you can see the whole of the interior of the cab. It's not in the kit. It's entirely up to you if you want to do it, and if you want to know where I got the kit, the equipment from, and how much it costs, then just put a request in the comments box below, and I'll be only too happy to help you with that. So as I say, the battery, which is a little 9-volt battery there, you can just see it, and its connection to the bulldozer, that will all disappear through the floor of a trailer and be in an equipment crate at the front somewhere, at the back, front, doesn't really matter. As you can see, the doors do open. They don't open too far. If you open them too far, they tend to flick off the hinges. The window opens on the side here, and the top hatch opens at the top up here, and that's about it really. The lights are all fitted. 2 headlights at the front there, one on each side. Couple of lights underneath the cab structure here. You can only just see them if you can at all. There's photographs knocking around on this video anyway, so you'll see it all. I thought at first I'd gone too far with the rusting, but these plates, what they do is they drop down so that you can access the top of the bulldozer, the top of the cab. So they drop down, and they drop down on all sides. They would be for maintenance and the like, and even as much as cleaning your windows. So you would be able to drop those down and literally be able to walk all the way around the bulldozer. So they drop down from there, and in real life I'm sure there's another one there, but hey ho, because they're walked on quite a lot, they tend to go rustier than the rest of the body. They're flipped up and flipped down again, you know. That was my view anyway, so I put a bit more rust on those, and I actually broke a bit of paint off there, so I stuck a rust patch on it. I think it looks alright. The transfers on it, very, very few. The transfers, decals, whatever you like to call them. There's one on the front there. There's a tiny one there. There are 2 tiny ones on the roof. One up there and one in there. And there's one at the side here. You may remember from a previous video, the cab, in the cab, the dashboard comes as a decal. The decal, I reckon that by the time you'd put it on, it would have looked horrendous. So what I did was I painted it. There's some photographs in the previous video of it. That's about all there is. Really very enjoyable build. I've heard a lot of good stuff about the Meng model kits, and most of it I think is quite true on here. What I would say though is there's quite a lot of bits that you need to fill, especially the pieces where they join together, like these rams. They need to be filled when you put them in and you fill them. They've also got some very, very tiny bits, which the bolt heads for these rams. You've got to cut those off a sprue. I don't know if you can see them from there. They're difficult to see, but they are there. The little bolt heads there, you have to cut off a sprue and then glue them on. Really quite difficult. I did deal with cutting them off and fixing them on the previous video. I think that's quite a nice looking model. That when it goes on the back of a truck, I think that'll look alright. Any questions? Any comments, good or bad? Please leave them in the comments area below, and it would be great if you would like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Oh, tell you what, before I go, the next kit that we're building is a slightly different thing. I'm going to build a German railway gun. I need to move away from the table a little bit and handhold the camera, but you can see that it's a fair old kit, and that's where I'm going to start next. We'll do an unboxing with it, and then I'll go through the build, and as I have done in the past, I'll tell you how I get on. Thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Ta-da!